Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on Foundations of Deep Learning, Concepts and Applications. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the unit architecture, attention based unit architecture for image segmentation work. In today's lecture, we will focus more on a topic which is a task of computer vision, which is object detection. So, the contents of today's discussion goes like introduction to object detection, selective search algorithm, region proposals, RCNN framework, fast RCNN framework and faster RCNN framework. So, we will first have a look into three different kinds of tasks in computer vision: classification, localization and object detection. Now, what is classification? Suppose we have an image of a dog and we give one single class label for the whole image, like it is a dog's image. That means we are giving a dog class for the entire image. That type of a task is called as classification task. What is localization? In the dog's image, if we have a box which is going all around the dog's image and the box in the image is having the coordinates x, y, w and h, where x and y are basically the coordinates of the center of the bounding box, h and w are the height and width of the image, then that kind of task we call as localization. That means we are localizing where exactly the object is present. Then we have the third type of task, which is object detection. Now, in object detection, say we have the image, this image which is having multiple objects. Okay. What are these? There is a parrot, there is a duck and there is a peacock. Okay. Now, if we see in this image what we have done, we have classified each of the object as a specific class like parrot, peacock and duck, as well as we have given the bounding box to the objects in the image. So, this is called as object detection. Now, from here can we write object detection is equal to classification plus localization, because we are doing both the works together in object detection. Now, we will see classification, we have seen how to do it. Now, we will see how to do the localization, how to have the bounding boxes around the object in an image. So, this localization can be cast as a regression problem. What do I mean by that? Suppose I have this image, it goes to the neural network, and what is the output of the neural network? What I want? I want the bounding box coordinates in terms of x, y, w and h, which are basically nothing but 4 predicted values. In regression, what we do? We predict some values. Okay. So, when we are predicting x, y, w and h values for the bounding box, this can be called as a regression problem. Okay. And the ground truth, suppose what is the ground truth here? It is the correct bounding box coordinates, that is correct. If you have the correct bounding box, those values of x, y, w and h, they are the ground truth, whereas the error will come from L2 distance between the predicted values and the ground truth. Okay. What is this L2 distance? L2 distance is nothing but the Euclidean distance, which is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now, what is this x2 and x1? Suppose x2 is my predicted value, x1 is my actual ground truth value. For the x coordinate, y2 and y1 also are the predicted and the ground truth value. So, the difference, the L2 distance between these two will give me the error for this regression problem. Okay. Now, can classification and localization be done together? This is a question. Okay. Can we do both parallelly? So, let us take the same image, a dog's image, and we pass it through convolution layers. We all know convolution layers, when they go, we get the features extracted in the form of feature map. Now, once the image goes through this convolution layers, we get the feature map, and this feature map, what we will do? We will pass it through a classification head. What is this classification head having? These are having the fully connected layers, and then there is the classifier or the softmax layer here, and together with the classification head we have another head which is the regression head. The classification head will do the classification task, the regression head will do the regression task. Classification will tell what kind of object is there in the image, and regression will give the bounding box for the object in the image. Okay. Now, in this classification head the loss will be the softmax loss, because if there are multiple classes we take the softmax loss, and in regression head it will be the L2 loss. Okay, that's how classification and localization can be done together. Now, if we have multiple objects, how is the case? Suppose I have an image, there are multiple objects here. What are the multiple objects? There is one human figure, that is a person is riding in the bicycle, then I have a car and I have a bus. Now, k number of objects are there, suppose in the image, in this case k equal to 3. Now, we pass it through the convolution layers and convolution pooling layers, and then we get the convolution feature map, and once again it goes to the classification head and the regression head. Now, in this case the classification head will give some class scores, k number of class scores. That means there will be classes like bicycle or human being within a bicycle, that is one class, then the car class and the bus class, all of them will get some scores. Okay. And the regression head, what it will give? It will give k into 4 numbers. What is this 4 numbers? These are basically for each class I have x, y, w and h. So, if I have a bounding box here, say across the car, I have x, y, w and h for this bounding box. Here for another one, if I have it here, there will be another set of x, y, w and h, and for this bus there will be another set. Okay. So, k is the number of classes that are present in the image, and into 4 gives, because we require 4 coordinates for the localization. Now, the next question is, can CNNs be trained for, can CNNs trained for classification be used for object detection? We know there are a lot of CNN models which are extremely good in classification task. Can these models like AlexNet, then ResNets, VGG16, these are all performs very good in classification task, we have already seen them. Now, can we use these models for object detection? What is the answer to that one? Suppose I have an image here, these are all AI generated images, and if I want classification model to work as an object detection model here, what I will do? I will use a sliding window. What is the concept of sliding window? I have a window here, and in this portion of the image I will ask whether it is a cat or a dog. Again I will slide it to a next position. Again I have to ask whether it is a cat or a dog. Again to the new position cat dog. Again to the new position cat dog. That means you have to scan multiple positions, which is computationally very expensive. Okay. So, the CNNs that are trained for classification, it is very difficult to use them directly for object detection, because they are computationally expensive in terms of using them through the concept of sliding window. Okay. Then we come to one algorithm called as selective search algorithm, which is very much used in object detection task. We will have a look into what is this algorithm about. Now, this algorithm begins with over segmentation of the image called as superpixels. What is this? Suppose this is my input image, and then based on some similarity, I will come into what kind of similarity, some nearby pixels, they are joined together to form one group of pixels called as superpixels, and they are having one typical color. Okay. Similarly, the other places also nearby pixels are getting added together and they are making the superpixels. So, the concept here is it merges similar neighboring regions repeatedly, creating a larger region. Now, when I call similar neighboring regions, what are the properties that in which I will see the similarity? It can be the color, it can be the texture, size similarity or shape compatibility. Okay. So, these are the properties which I will see, and I will check the similarity between adjacent pixels, and then I will merge them together. Once that merging is done, there will be bounding boxes across this, around these superpixels. And what are these bounding boxes? These bounding boxes are called as region proposals. So, this is a very important term. We will keep on using this term in my remaining part of the lecture. So, this is region proposal. Okay. Now, suppose this is the case in my first iteration. This is the case in my second iteration. What it has happened? What it has merged, bigger areas together, and then it has given some color to that group of pixels. So, it is repeatedly it is merging based on this similarity similar properties. Now, once these merged areas like the purple area, the yellow area, then the orange area, they have been merged, then there are bounding boxes or region proposals that are created from there. This is say in the second or third iteration, and this can be maybe fifth or sixth iteration. So, what we see is this group of pixels having similar color, it is becoming bigger and bigger, and here also we have the bounding boxes. Now, when it is becoming bigger and bigger, you see there is a kind of a structure that is forming here, and that is coming in this green box. Here also it is like the human, some this portion have now come together. So, there is one bounding box here, and we are able to see that objects are slowly coming into, they are getting one bounding box around that object. Okay. So, this is the final one, and you see this is very clear here, the person with the head and the body. So, this is the bounding box. This green ones are showing the correct bounding box around the object. Okay. And this entire portion, this is the place where the ships are there, okay, or the other objects are here. So, this is called as the selective search algorithm. Okay. Now, this is the original paper where selective search has been first introduced. It is a paper which came in 2013, Selective Search for Object Recognition in International Journal of Computer Vision. I have taken the images from this original paper itself. Now, we will come into these region proposals based on selective search algorithms. So, I have told whenever we give a bounding box in one of the portions, superpixel or a group of pixels, bunch of pixels, we call them as region proposals. Now, suppose I have this image. What we are trying to see here is we are trying to find regions that are likely to contain an object. Okay. So, that is the main purpose of this entire topic. We want to find out in this image where are the object present. Is it present here? Is it present here? Is it present here? Where are the places where the object is present? Okay. So, what region proposal will try is it will try to find out all the likely places where it finds an object. Now, out of all these are all region proposals, the green ones and the blue boxes, out of which the blue boxes are false positive. That means, if you see this blue box is just the head of a dog, it is not the full object. Here also it is a portion of the cat, it is not the full object. Okay. So, what you can see is here it is only the tail, but if you see the green boxes like this one, it takes care of the entire cat's image or cat object. Here also the entire dog is inside the green box. So, the blue boxes are false positives and green boxes are true positives. Okay. Now, these are class agnostic object detection. What do I mean by class agnostic object detection? That means whether it is a dog class or cat class or any other class for that matter, irrespective of that one, we are trying to find out where the object is present in the image. Okay. It has nothing to do with the class of that object. Now we will come to a framework which is used for object detection. This framework works on this region proposal and it is called as RCNN framework. That is RCNN is regions with CNN features. Okay. Now this RCNN framework was first introduced in the paper Rich Feature Hierarchies for Accurate Object Detection and Semantic Segmentation by Rosh Girshik and his team in 2014. So, this is the paper, original paper. This image is from the original paper and we will see what are the steps that are going on in this RCNN framework. First is we extract or first propose candidate regions in an image. So, what exactly we mean by candidate regions? Candidate regions are the candidates in which or the regions inside which we expect some object to be present. Okay. Feed these regions through convolution neural network to extract rich features. So, the first part, it proposes candidate regions in the form of boxes and then these regions are fed into the CNN to extract rich features, to extract the feature map. And then it goes to some classification head where classify each region using class specific linear SVMs. So, basically this part is doing our classification work, whether it is an aeroplane, whether it is a person, whether it is a TV monitor, we are getting the class specifics here in the number 4 part, which is the classify region. Now, we will see one by one in details what exactly is happening in extract region proposal, CNN feature extraction and classify region. And here we will see classification happens using linear SVMs. Okay. SVMs are support vector machines, which are algorithms which can be used for classification task. Now, what happens during RCNN training? I have kept that image and we will see one by one. First is the input image, that is okay. Then we have this extract region proposal. So, we will concentrate more on this box now. Now, region proposal generation, what exactly happens there? It is a category independent selective search. That means whether it is a dog class, cat class, tree class, bus class, car class, irrespective of that one, the selective search algorithm will try to find out the regions where there is a likelihood of an object to be present. Okay. Provides candidate bounding boxes for objects. As we can see, these are the yellow colored boxes, these are the bounding boxes around the objects or likely objects. Produces a set of candidate regions, these are basically your region proposals, such that almost every true object in the image overlaps reasonably well with at least one candidate box. It means that whatever objects are there present in the image, at least one of the bounding boxes should catch that one. Okay. None of the objects should be outside. It should not be the case that there are no bounding boxes, not a single bounding box is there around any object that is present in the image. All images should have some bounding boxes. Okay. Then after we do the bounding boxes, what is the next step? We will look into this one. This is the compute the CNN features. So, during training, how it happens? Feature extraction with CNNs. First, what we do is they have downloaded the classification model AlexNet. AlexNet has been used for this classification, this feature extraction work. Then fine tune it for Pascal Walk 2007 data set, which has 20 object classes. Now, this RCNN framework has been tested with a data set, image data set, which is called as Pascal Walk 2007 image set, image data set, and it is having 20 object classes. Now, our AlexNet was trained on ImageNet dataset, which was having 1000 classes. So, fine tuning is required where we change our classification part of the network to have only 20 classes and not go into 1000 classes. Okay. So, we want the model, the feature extractor to have 20 classes in the output. Okay. So, that for that reason the AlexNet needs to be fine tuned for this Pascal Walk 2007 data set. Then crop each region from the original image. So, what we have seen is here there is some warping region, warp region. So, basically they have cropped from the original image and warped or resized each crop to a fixed size. Here the size is 227 cross 227 because that is the input image requirement for AlexNet. So, every bounding box it has been cropped and then it has been resized to a particular size which is 227 by 227. And then we pass each region through the CNN to extract a feature vector which is 4096 dimension features. Okay. Now, feature extraction through region proposals, we will see what is this cropping and resizing or warping is doing. So, we have the image and these are the bounding boxes or these are the region proposals. There are two region proposals. What we have done is we have cropped this portion, this box, and we have cropped out this entire box also, and then we have warped it to a fixed size of 227 cross 227 and then it is going through the convolution pooling layers and it is giving out the feature maps. So, this image is taken from the original paper where warped training samples from Walk 2007 training data set has been shown. Aeroplanes of different shapes and sizes, they have been cut, they have been cropped and resized to make them suitable for AlexNet model. Okay. Then, so we have seen the extract region proposals, compute CNN features, what is left? So, the classified region is left now. Now, this classification here, it is done through some class specific support vector machines. Now, when I tell class specific support vector machines, what do I mean by that? It means that train one linear SVM per class using the extracted features. What exactly I mean by SVM, linear SVM per class? What is this class specific SVMs? Suppose we will look into binary SVMs for each class. Just we will take an example. Suppose we have images, flower images. So, these are positive samples of flower SVM. Okay. So, this is flower SVM. These are the positive samples. This set is having images of dogs. So, these are positive samples of dog SVM and this is positive sample of cat SVM. And if you see all these, the flowers and the dogs, these are negative samples for class cat SVM. Okay. So, we have positive samples and negative samples for every SVM class. Now, how does the training with SVM happens? Suppose I have a picture where I have two objects, specific objects I want to focus on. One is the human figure sitting over the horse and the other one is the horse. Okay. Now, in this case two classes of objects is there, one is the human figure, another one is the horse. Now, there will be two SVMs. What is that? One is the horse class, another one is the human class. Then feed the features extracted from CNN to all SVMs. So, whatever SVMs we have, horse class or human class, we give the features extracted by the CNN to all the SVMs. And each SVM outputs a score based on the features it is getting. The class with the highest positive score wins. That means, if the features are of the horse, then the horse class SVM will get the highest score and we can classify it as a the object as the horse. If all SVM scores are negative, what does it mean? That means it is neither the human being nor the horse, that means it is a background. Okay. Now, so we have done the classification work. Now, here we have done the bounding boxes and the classification job both are done. Now something is there called as the bounding box regression. What exactly it means? That is also a task that is done in the RCNN framework. Now you take this image, suppose this is the correct position of the proposal with the dog's image is there at the center and two sides we have some background. Now if you see this image, it is proposal is too much left, it has gone this side and more of the background has come into picture. Then this one, the proposal is too much wide. So this side and this side, both the sides they have increased, and so the size has the proposal is too much wide. And in this figure, the proposal without the full dog's image, that means some portion of the dog's image have got cut. So these are the various proposals of various shapes and sizes can come out of the image. Now what is this bounding box regression doing? This regressor predicts the offset, which is dx, dy, dw and dh between the proposed box and the ground truth box. So wherever it has gone extra, so those things will be predicted in this regressor, and this is used to compute the refined box. At the end we want a box which is exactly just having the image in it without much of background. With the image, all the portions of the image should be there, all the portions of the object should be there in that box. Okay. So this is the use of the bounding box regression. Now the bounding box regression helps improve the accuracy of the object localization by adjusting the initially proposed bounding box to better fit the object's actual boundaries. Okay. So we are coming where we take the actual boundaries, that is the correct boundary. Okay. We want to reach to that level. So this is an image for the RCNN framework. We will now have a look. So you have the input image here, and these white portions these are the regions of interest from the proposal method. In RCNN framework, some 2K proposals are generated, 2000 proposals generated, then all these regions they are warped, and then they go through the convolution layers, convnet, and after that one there are bounding box regressor and support vector machines for classification, and bounding box regressors are there for making the bounding box more refined and more accurate. Okay. The boundary box regressors are applied and classify the SVMs classify the regions, classify the objects that are present in the image. Okay. Now there is something written here, post hoc components. What do I mean by that one? Post hoc component means, see, there is a purple color outline which is there here in the B box regression SVMs. These portions are having the purple color box. What exactly it means is, after extracting the features from the regions of interests, SVMs are trained separately for each class. That means they initially the convolution operation is done. After that separately these regions are going through the SVMs. SVMs are trained separately for each class. Okay. A separate linear regressor is trained independently to refine the bounding box coordinates. So basically it means that these bounding box regressors and SVMs, they are trained separately and they are done after the convolution operation is done. Okay. Now we have got the bounding boxes, we have got the classes that of objects that are present in the image. Now there is something called as the non-maximum suppression. What is the meaning of that one? Non-maximum suppression means we can have multiple boxes. Multiple boxes can be there around one object, but we want only one box. So this is the correct one. This we cannot, all these duplicates we cannot keep. So, non-maximum suppression removes the duplicate detections by retaining only regions with the highest score for each class based on the IOU statistics. So, it will take all the bounding boxes, go for a IOU score calculation, and then whichever is having the IOU score, that means the score between the ground truth and the bounding box that is present here. So, whichever is having the highest score, that will be my actual correct bounding box. So, this is called as non-maximum suppression, and it increases efficiency or accuracy. Then, so this is the working of RCNN framework, but there is a limitation of RCNN. It is very slow at test time. Why it is very slow? Because it is generating 2000 proposals, and then each of them are going through the convolution layers. So, it takes a lot of time, okay? And it is a multi-stage complex training pipeline. Why it is multi-stage? Because we are creating the region proposals, and then they are going through the convolution conv nets, and then they are going to the bounding box regressor and classifier, SVM classifier. So, it is a very complex training process, okay? So, that makes it slow as well. To overcome that problem came into picture the first RCNN. So, this is also from that same group, Roche-Gitschik's group, and this is the paper in the proceedings of IEEE International Conference of Computer Vision. Fast RCNN is the title of the paper. So, here what is the difference? Here if we see, this is the image, this entire image goes to the convolution layer, and then this region of interest or the region proposal gets projected on that one, okay. So, here instead of putting separate region proposals to separate convolution networks, we take the entire image goes to the convnet, and the ROIs get projected over that one. And then there is something called as the ROI pooling layer. What is the function of this ROI pooling layer? ROI max pooling take region proposals of size H cross W on the feature map and converts it to a fixed size output, capital H cross W. That is, it can be 7 cross 7, 5 cross 5. Now, why it is done? We want a fixed size input to go through the fully connected layers, okay. So, this ROI max pooling does that job. As different ROIs have different shapes and sizes, ROI pooling standardizes them so that they can be processed by fully connected layers. Okay, so, that is the reason for ROI pooling. And then after that one it goes to the fully connected layers, then soft, max and bounding box regressor, and this is done for each ROI. Okay. So, the image for fast RCNN during test time. So, we see the entire image goes to the convnet, and then the entire image is forwarded, and regions of interest from proposal method, it comes here and they get proposed here, okay, they get projected here. Now, after these projections, what happens? There is an ROI pooling, and then these ROI pooling which makes them fixed size, and then it goes to the fully connected layers, and then from the fully connected layers it goes to the softmax classifier, and here there is a bounding box regressor. So, linear plus softmax. So, this is a classifier and this is the regressor. Okay. Now, what is the difference between normal RCNN framework and fast RCNN framework? Here it shares the computation of convolution layer between proposal for an image. So, the entire convolution computation is shared between the proposals, the region of interests. Okay. And this makes the RCNN the working of the RCNN fast. So, fast RCNN is basically, it is much faster in computation because we are using the same computational computation or sharing the computation of the convolution layer between proposals for an image. Now, what is this SPP? It is called a special pyramid pooling, and here in this case we have a single level spatial pyramid pooling That means a fixed size goes into the further layers in the fully connected layers. Okay. Then we come to another version which is called as the faster RCNN version. So, this is the image of the structure. I have taken it from the original paper by S. Wren and his team, with Gishik also a part of that team. Faster RCNN towards real time object detection with region proposal network. It came in IEEE Transactions on Pattern Analysis and Machine Intelligence in 2015. Now, how is this faster RCNN different from fast RCNN? We will have a look. Faster RCNN uses region proposal network. So, it uses RPN. So, what is this RPN? RPN is basically, we will see, it is a small neural network that slides over the convolution feature map of the entire image. So, if this is the the convolution feature map, and then we have a red colored sliding window here, that sliding window is basically a small neural network which slides over the entire image, the entire convolution map, and then what happens is, what is the function of this one? It automatically predicts two scores. One is the objectness score, that means where object could possibly be in that part of the sliding window, and bounding box regression offsets, the refining the bounding box coordinates. So, two things it is doing. This, after we get the full convolution map from the ConvNet, we have a small neural network that slides over the entire feature map. At each place, it tries to find out whether there is an object, where exactly the object could be, and where can be the refined bounding box for that one. Now, this RPN replaces selective search. Now, what exactly it means? It does the same work as selective search was doing. Okay. Now, objects in images appear with different sizes. How to handle this problem? When I am coming to this working of RPN, region proposal network, we will be talking about the various shapes and sizes of objects that may be present in a single image. So, for continuing the discussion in that direction, I will divert little bit here. So, objects and images may appear a little different in sizes. How do we handle, or how models handle this one? Suppose I have an image here. If you see, there is a dinosaur which is a big object, then there is an elephant which is a medium sized object, and there is a small fox which is a very small object. So, various sizes and shapes of objects may appear in an image. Now, here there are various ways in which this can be tackled. How do the model looks into all different sizes of objects in the same image? One is taking pyramids of image and feature maps are built, and classifier is run at all scales. That means, you take the image, make them multiple scaled, bigger, medium size, smaller, and then you go, find out the feature map from there to have bigger objects as well as smaller objects. The other way is to use pyramids of filters with multiple scales or sizes that run on the feature map. You can have various sizes of filters. The smaller size filters will look into the smaller objects, bigger size filters will look into bigger receptive area and take out bigger objects. Now, the third one is using RPN. In RPN, pyramids of reference boxes are used in the regression function. Now, we will look into this one, pyramid of reference boxes, what are they and how they are helping to handle these different sizes of objects that are coming in the image. So, we will concentrate on this last block. So, these different size and shape of the boxes, they are called as anchors in faster RCNN. So, what are these anchors? We will try to see. So, there are, in this picture, we have k anchor boxes. Now, we have this convolution feature map, this is the sliding window, and each position of the sliding window, there will be k anchor boxes. Now, what is the concept of anchor boxes? Anchor boxes are basically a set of predefined bounding boxes of multiple scales and multiple aspect ratio. So, you can see sizes are also different and aspect ratios are also different. Okay. placed at every location of the feature map. So, every location of the feature map there will be these anchor boxes and they are called as the reference boxes. Example, common choices are 3 scales like 128 cross 128, 256 cross 256, 512 cross 512 and 3 aspect ratios 1:1, 1:2, 2:1. So, these are the aspect ratios. Total 9 anchors per location and it is called as the anchor pyramid. Okay. So, this is one process to handle various size and shapes of objects that may be present in the image, in one single image. Now, after we get the anchor boxes from each and every point of the convolution feature map, then what is happening here? This goes to the regression layer and classification layer. Regression layer gives 4k coordinates, 4 coordinates for each anchor box. If there are k anchor boxes, suppose, then we get 4k coordinates and 2k scores. What are these 2k scores in the classification layer? One is object, another one is the background. So, for each and every point in the convolution feature map, we are getting the coordinates of the bounding boxes and the score, whether it is an object, classification score, whether it is an object or it is not an object. That means it is a background. So, we will have a picture. This is taken from the original paper. So, we have the image going into the convolution layers. These are basically VGG16 or ResNet. Then there we have this region proposal network. It is the key addition in the faster RCNN framework and it generates the proposals. And we see the same feature map is shared by the RPN and the classifier here. Then we have the ROI pooling which extracts a fixed size feature from each proposal region. And then we have this one, that black portion, it is basically the detection head of the fast RCNN. Exactly same what we have used in the detection part of our fast RCNN, same is here. And it does 2 work, predicts object class and predicts a better bounding box. Now, in this network we have 4 losses. What are the losses? One is coming from the proposals. It is classification loss for the anchors. That means whether it is a foreground or background. A loss can come for misinterpretation of a background as a foreground, okay? Whether it is an object or a background. Okay. Then we have regression boxes or the bounding box loss that is coming from the proposals. Then from the detection head of the fast RCNN, we have classification loss which is for the type of the object, that is the class object class, and then we have regression loss, position of the class specific final boxes. So, this is the entire framework of faster RCNN. Now, if we have a performance comparison, we see RCNN's testing time per image was 50 seconds, where in fast RCNN it came down to 2 seconds, drastic change, and faster RCNN is 0.2 second. And the mean average precision is 66 for RCNN, fast RCNN it is 66.9 and faster RCNN it is 73.2. That means it keeps on improving. So, faster RCNNs are fully trainable end to end and extremely fast region proposals computed in 10 milliseconds on GPU. More accurate learned proposals are better aligned with the detector. The faster RCNN performance have improved much better than the initial RCNN and the fast RCNN framework. Faster is much better than that one. With this one I come to the end of today's session. We will quickly have a summary of what we have studied today. So, we started with what is object detection. Can we write object detection as a classification and localization work together? And then we have seen how to do classification and localization or localization can be thought of as a regression problem and how it can be done parallelly using the classifier head and the regression head. Then we have seen what is the selective search algorithm where superpixels are formed and they are merged together, bounding boxes are created, and finally it helps in region proposal generation. Now, these region proposals are basically these are the fundamental units that are used in the RCNN framework. So, we have seen how the RCNN framework works. The first one was where the image was going through various convolution layers and the convolution convnets, and then there were regions of proposals coming out from there, and then it was going for further processing. Now, it was time consuming because approximately 2000 region proposals were created everywhere. So, each and every region proposal needs to go through the convnet, and then for the further processing, that was taking time. Then the fast RCNN came into picture, which was using the only one convolution neural network, and the entire image was going through that convolution network to give the feature map, one single feature map over which the region of interests are the region proposals were projected, and then it was going for bounding box regressor and classifier. So, in this case bounding box regressor, it gives fine bounding boxes, very accurate, where exactly the object is localized, and then the classifier tells us what type of object is present inside that box. Then came the faster RCNN, which used this region proposal network, which is a small network which was scanned or slided through the entire convolution feature map from the entire image, and then each of these places wherever the RPN is coming and sitting, there will be anchor boxes or anchors, which are basically nothing but a pyramid of various shapes and sizes of or an aspect ratio of bounding boxes. And what it does is, each of these, it will try to see if there is an object of that particular shape and aspect ratio. Then it goes through the regression layer, which gives for each box, it gives each anchor, it gives 4 values, and in the classification layer, it gives for each box, it gives 2 scores, whether it is a background or whether it is an object. So, and we have seen all throughout that the improvement have increased drastically from the initial RCNN framework to the faster RCNN framework. With this one, I conclude today's session, and in the next session, we will look into a specific algorithm, that is the yellow V1 algorithm, which is used for object detection task. So, I hope you all have understood how this object detection happens in RCNN framework. Keep reading till we meet the next time. Happy learning. Thank you.